Good morning and welcome to the orientation program of the Basic Certificate in Export Management of Lagos School of Export Management in conjunction with LSEM Export Cooperative Movement, that is LECOM. So this program is organized by the Lagos School of Export Management, but it is delivered in conjunction with LECOM, and that's why it is free for all participants who are full member or active member of LECOM. Okay, so I welcome you this morning to this orientation where we'll just run through everything that you'll be doing in the program and during the program. Okay, so let's go straight right into it. All right, so uh, welcome to the BCEM program, which you already know means Basic Certificates in Export Management. Basic Certificates in Export Management. So this program usually run for 3 months. Officially, it is a 6 weeks program, but because the structure of the school allows for students to be able to use their availability to plan their live classes. So the maximum you can do the program for is 3 months. But officially, you can finish the program in 6 weeks. That is maybe 6 weekend or maybe 6 days. If you are available for a day in a week, you can do it in 6 weeks. And depending on your arrangement with the learning team, you can cover it in lesser time. All right. So welcome once again, everyone, to the Basic Certificate in Export Management program organized by the Lagos School of Export Management. And congratulations on taking your first step towards becoming an export professional, because that's what this program is all about. It's all about building you up from that beginner level for you to become an export professional. So it takes you from you not knowing much or not knowing anything about exporting, and then becoming someone that is a professional in the business. So that's what the program does for you. Okay, so you can be rest assured that by the time we come to the end of this program, you won't regret taking the program at all. In fact, your question or what you'll be asking yourself is that, oh, how come you maybe you've just hearing about it as at the time when you were hearing about the program, or how come you haven't attended this program earlier than now? So what's the purpose, or what are the purposes of the BCEM program? So number one, to introduce participants to the fundamentals of international trade and export operations. So one of the things this program will do is to introduce you to the fundamentals of international trade and export operations. So when it comes to exporting is a very technical business or a technical sector. So as you are doing the business, you also have to understand the technicalities, the fundamentals of international trade and the export business. This is really important. And that's one of the things the program does. It's to make sure that theoretically and technically you are up to par. Meanwhile, you are also, on the field. You are also active and engaging. Okay, so the second thing is to build understanding of export documentation, financing, logistics, and compliance. So I already said that the export business or the export sector is a technical sector. Okay, it has a lot of technicalities. So one of such is export documentation, where you have different documents that are accompanying your shipment. So for you to understand these documents, one of the things that this program would do is to build your knowledge and your understanding of it. So when we are talking of export documentation, when we are talking of export financing, logistics, compliance, in international trade and export, you are going to learn all this. Financing has to do with pre-shipment finance or post-shipment finance. So you learn how to raise money, how to get paid, how to make sure that you use your letter of credit effectively, and all that. So this is really important also. And then thirdly, you have to prepare participants for real world participation in global trade and export ventures. So just as you are learning on the theoretical side, you are also going to be learning on the practical side. Okay, so we'll make sure that we give you activities, we give you projects, you have assignments, you have things to work on. Okay, even before we come to the end and the conclusion of this program. One of the things we are going to encourage you to do is to, if you have not registered your business, try as much as possible to do that with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Register your business, your limited liability company. Try as much as possible to get your exporters registration certificate from the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, which is the NEPC. So you want to make sure you also do that. We'll also advise you to open a commercial bank account during this program. So our job is to make sure that you are set up. That's it. That's what we are working on. So we are working to make sure that you're set up, you have your setup by the time you are done with this program, or even before you are done, you can have all these uh structured out already, so that if we should come across any opportunity that has to do with export or that has to do with exporting, we can present such opportunity to you, and you can take such opportunity to see if it's something that you'll be able to work on. Okay, so what's the structure of the program? So like I said earlier, so one of the things you need to understand is that the BCEM is a beginner's level program. Okay, so that's why it is basic. So we say basic certificate. So from the basic, we still have the advanced certificate and we have the professional certificate in export management. So for the BCEM that we are considering now, the duration is 6 weeks, like I said, officially, but with the structure that you have or want to have, the maximum time frame you can take it is 3 months. It's 3 months. So the format, that is how it's delivered. You have weekly modules, there are practical sessions, and there are assessments. Okay. So as we are making sure you are learning through the presentation and the classes, you are also learning on the field. Okay, so delivery is virtual, and the key components of our lectures are you have the case studies that we look into. Apart from the lectures, as the lecture is coming in, we'll also be considering several case studies that we'll be discussing. We'll be looking at group assignments. export simulation exercises, also export simulation exercises. So it's an interesting program that you have to pay attention to. So what are the weekly modules? What are the overviews? The modules that we are going to be considering or looking at every week. Because, like, for instance, tomorrow, if we have our first weekly module, that means by another Saturday we'll have our second module. So every Saturday we'll be attending lectures, okay? And there are still going to be some bonus lectures, also like one or two more lectures. Okay, so for our weekly modules, we look at number one, introduction to export business. What is export business? What it's all about? We'll explain everything that you have to understand, that you need to know, that will guide your business, that will guide your approach in export business. So that's the first module. The second module is fundamentals of international trade, where we talk about everything that makes up the international trade sector, okay, across the world, globally, the key actors and other things, other factors. So we are going to look into that in that class for fundamentals of international trade. And number three, we'll look at the Nigerian export environment and regulatory bodies. Nigerian export environment and regulatory bodies. Okay, so we look at all the the regulatory agencies, the key actor and stakeholders who are providing support, who are providing compliance, regulations, and other. So we'll look into all that, because you need to understand the framework and everything that make up the export business ecosystem. So these are things that we are going to deal with one by one in that class. So export documentation basics. Yes, so you need to understand export documentation. You need to understand the documents that comes from you and those that comes externally. You need to understand the role that your freight forwarder plays in export documentation. So sometimes you might want to be the one to do your documentation yourself. Sometimes you want to outsource these things to other people out there. So that also works. So you need to understand the pros and cons of each document and why they are important and why you need them. Okay. So, number 5, or the module 5, is payment methods in export. What are the payment methods in export? So, which payment method are you supposed to settle for? Which payment method are you supposed to reject, that when the buyer is saying, oh, this is how I want to pay you, you quickly let the buyer know that, oh, I'm not accepting that, or this is what I can accept, or this is what I work with. Okay, because one of the things you have to understand is that you can do all your shipment, all your export and everything, and not get paid at the end of the day. So what BCEM teaches you or trains you on is to make sure that you get paid on every shipment that you do. So we want to make sure that you also get paid, you get your money out. Okay, so module 6 is introduction to export marketing, which talks about how you want to access other markets across the world, around the world. So we want to know how you want to access these markets, how you intend to advertise and market your products across the world or around the world. So that's module 6 is introduction to export marketing. Meanwhile, module 7 is introduction to Incoterms. Introduction to Incoterms. Incoterms stands for international commercial terms. And the way it works is that when you mention an Incoterm, or when you use an Incoterm with any prospective buyer or maybe merchants across the world, they understand because the Incoterms mean the same thing everywhere. So that's why you have to learn it and apply it with your contract negotiations and pricing and payment methods. They all work hand in hand. Then our final module will be the assessment and case study, which will also involve you presenting your project and all that. But we are going to have bonus classes on buyer sourcing, where we'll talk about how to source for buyers, how to get buyers for your export business, okay, or for your commodity. So what are the learning outcomes of this program? So at the end of the program, participants should be able to, one, understand how export transactions are structured and executed. How are export transactions structured and how do you execute them? Okay, who are the actors? Who are the stakeholders? All right, so you want to understand how importers work, how exporters work, how the financial institutions come into play. What do you do from export contract to executing the export contract? Okay, so all these transactions, we are going to go into it. We are going to be able to explain to you what to do to each contract that comes your way, what to do and how to go about them. What are the first things that you are supposed to do? Supposing you have an export contract now, you have the money, you have the commodity on ground. If you load the commodity into the container, what happens next? What do you do? So all these things are taught in this program. Then number two is identify export opportunities and prepare products for international market. So we'll also train you on how to identify export opportunities across the world, different markets, and how to prepare your products all down here for the international market. Maybe your product is something that is processed or it's not processed. Okay. So maybe your product is semi-processed or it's pre-processed. Uh, uh, it could be something that is perishable or non-perishable. So you need to understand your product, and that's why it's also good you do an extensive research on your product to know that, oh, this product, maybe if I pack it this way, if I process it in this manner, it doesn't get spoiled. So you need to understand if it gets spoiled or when it gets spoiled, the time frame that you have around that. So we are going to talk and discuss about all that. Then complete essential export documentation accurately. Yes. How to go about your export documentation is also something we are going to go through, because we are going to be giving out different examples of documentation that you have to see through, look through, read through to understand what we are talking about. Then we have understand Incoterms, shipping terms, and risk management. Understand Incoterms, we talk about that Incoterms just in previous slides now. So we want you to understand how Incoterm work. We want you to understand shipping terms, okay, that you are going to be using with your prospective buyer, and risk management. Then we have engage with export financing. Payment systems, and trade support institutions. Engage with export financing, payment systems, and trade support institutions. This is really important. So we want you to know what kind of financing institution, commercial banks, private finance institutions, or technology finance company, which are the tech startups that are providing services in international trade and exporting. So all these, we are also going to look through it. We are going to look through payment systems and the organizations that support financing in exporting. So who should attend BCEM? Who is it for? It's for so that you don't have a misconception of thinking maybe the program is not for you or not. So we compile this list, starting with aspiring exporters and entrepreneurs. So you don't even have to be an exporter to attend this program. Okay. So we have SME owners seeking international market access. SME owners seeking international market access can also attend this so that they can use that to learn the nitty-gritty of everything concerning this business. Then cooperative members like you who are full members of LECOM already and agribusiness professionals. And we also have trade consultants, logistics staffs, and students of international business can also attend this program. So what are the expectations from participants? What are the expectations? So attend all classes. You have to attend all the classes that are involved. Minimum, you need a 75% attendance, okay? Then participate actively in discussions and assignments. So, one of the things we make sure we do is that you have different discussions and different assignments. Okay, so you are supposed to actively participate in these discussions and assignments. All right. So although we are doing catch up, we have a section that we call catch up. That if you are not able to meet up with a class or attend a class at the time when you are supposed to, the learning team will send you a catch up, which is linked to that class and 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 the presentation that was used in that class so that you can catch up with what you missed. So even with that, the learning team will also ask you for your assignments, for your project. Okay, so you have to expect that at all times. So just because you are not in a live class doesn't mean you shouldn't do your assignments. So if you look at the next is submit all assignments on time. So for each module, there are assignments. So you make sure you submit your assignment. So maintain professional conduct and teamwork spirit. Okay, let's all maintain professional conduct and teamwork spirit. Now complete the final project presentation. Make sure that you complete your final project presentation. So the next slide is certification. So upon completion, that is when you've done with the program, you've done your final presentation and you've been certified as completed, you will receive the basic certificate in export management issued by the Lagos School of Export Management. All right. So top performance from this basic certificate will be recommended for the advanced certificate in export management. Okay. So now evaluation and grading. This is how we are going to do the evaluation and grade. So class participation is 50%. Assignments and quizzes is 30%. Final project is 20%. Okay. So from here, we also have our learning approach. So the first thing in our learning approach, because there is a way this program is structured to train you. So the first thing is your export readiness test. Every participant of any of our program, depending on where you are entering the program for, if it's from the beginner level, intermediary level, or the advanced level, or the professional level, or the executive level, we recommend that you take the export readiness test at ready.lsem.org.ng. ready.lsem.org.ng. That is the export readiness test. So what this export readiness test does is that it allows you to take the test and download a comprehensive test report. That comprehensive test report is something that you have to send to us. So it's something that you have to, you have to send to us. Okay. So that's the comprehensive test report, because by the time you also complete this program, we are still going to ask you to take the test again, and you send your report again, because we need to study them and we need to check the changes. Now, one of the things we also do is to make sure we apply experiential learning, learn by doing, learn by example, so that it's not just theoretical approach and it's just like we are teaching textbook class. Okay, so make sure we are bringing things from the outside, the day-to-day experiences from the export business. So case studies from African and global markets. So I already mentioned we'll be considering lots of case studies, project simulation, real export business transactions, and we are also going to be having some bonus lectures. Okay, so tools and resources are available to every participant, as they'll be having access to export templates and checklists. The export readiness assessment report is there that I said we should take. So try to just go to the website. As you are listening to me now, just open maybe your phone, go to that website, ready.lsem.org.ng, and take the readiness test. So there will be reading materials and lecture notes that will be sent, online community support via WhatsApp, let me say Telegram. We use Telegram more for our community support. So rules and code of conduct. What are the rules? One is punctuality and participation are mandatory. So punctuality, let me quickly talk about that. So if you receive an email from the learning team that we are starting by 10 a.m., please and please try as much as possible to be in class by 10 a.m. If you are told the class is going to start by 9 a.m., please and please try as much as possible to be in the class by 9 a.m. because there won't be African time. We'll start immediately. And because we have what we call catch up, if you miss the class, we believe that the learning team will send you a recording of the class so that you can catch up on the class. And because of that, we'll just start, because we already know the class is being recorded. So please and please try to make punctuality a thing with your classes. So respect for facilitators. Make sure you respect your instructors in your classes. No plagiarism or copying in assignments. Please make sure there's no copying in the assignments. Okay, so uphold integrity and professionalism. Uphold integrity and professionalism. So exports as a wealth creation tool, let's quickly consider that. Because when you ask a lot of people, why do they want to go into the export business, or why are you in this class or in this program now? It's because, you want to go into exporting, you want to make money, and all that. So export businesses are actually a way to create wealth and generate good wealth. One, exporting expands market reach beyond local boundaries. So this is one of the things exporting does. It helps your product to go beyond your local boundary, beyond Nigeria, beyond neighboring countries. So that's one of the things it does. And if it's doing that, if you are doing that already, then it means you are making money doing that also. Okay, so generates foreign exchange and boosts job creation. Generates foreign exchange and boosts job creation. So one thing export does for you is to help you to generate foreign exchange. It helps you generate foreign exchange. Officially, when you are doing export or anything international trade, you are being paid in USD, which is dollars, but you can be paid in any currency. It boosts job creation because you can't do everything alone. You have to outsource some things. You have to hire some people to maybe help you with one or two things, help you with some things, and you pay them. So economically, you are also creating job opportunities. It drives economic diversification in Nigeria and Africa. Okay, so it drives economic diversification in Nigeria. It helps drive non-oil exports. It helps increases our GDP. So exporting helps just as it's helping your own pocket, it's also helping the country's economy. Okay, so the BCEM program helps you position to tap into these opportunities. So all these opportunities we listed. So that's one of the things the BCM program will help you to do. And that's why we'll try as much as possible to drive you in the right direction. We'll try as much as possible to drive you to do or complete some things even before we are done with this program. Okay, so what are opportunities in export? One, agricultural commodities. Okay, so agricultural commodities like cocoa beans, like cashew, sesame, hibiscus, ginger. We have all these things in Nigeria. All right, so we have all these in Nigeria. So we also have non-oil products like fashion, craft, processed food, beauty products. So in the case of fashion, for instance, you can see different fashion designers now are sewing for people in the UK. They are sewing for Nigerians in the UK. So before you know it, someone in the UK is already sending message, oh, I want you to sew this boo-boo for me. I want you to sew this style for me. And that is export, okay? That is export. We also have service export, which is like consulting, education, IT, remote workers, remote jobs, all those are services, but they are also export. And you can also partner with export cooperatives like LECOM for your export business, for consulting, for research, and a lot of things. So our own export ecosystem at Lagos School of Export Management, we do training and capacity building as a school, as an institution. We are setting up export cooperatives across the country. And we have trade finance support desk in partnership with tech startups, and some private finance institutions. And we can also help you in detailing your finance application with commercial banks. Okay, so market access platforms also like business to business and trade missions that will help you across the world. Okay, so we also have student engagement platforms. So we do have okay, sorry about that. So we do have our internship for students who are undergraduates or students within the BCEM program. Okay, and we do have business registration and support desk. We can help you with your CAC limited liability registration. We can help you with your NEPC exporter registration certificate, that is your export license. But we usually encourage you to do it yourself so that you can do it at a cheaper rate, because if we are doing it for you, we'll add charges to it, which might be something that you may not want. So if you can do it yourself, it's good you do it yourself. So you can just go to cac.gov.ng for your business registration. And when you are done with it, you go to nepc.gov.ng for your export license registration. So thank you very, very much for this orientation class. If you have any concern at all, any issue at all concerning this learning, concerning the program, just send an email to learning@lsem.org.ng. Also note that all your assignments, your classworks, everything, or let me say projects that will be requested from you, everything has to be sent to learning@lsem.org.ng. So if you have any question too, please send it to learning@lsem.org.ng. So thank you very much. So next week, Saturday, let me say tomorrow, Saturday, rather, we are looking at introduction to export business, while the coming Saturday we'll be considering fundamentals of international trade. So thank you very much and have a great weekend.